So basically, exception handling is one of the most important feature in Java. Okay, so it basically allows us to handle runtime errors. Okay, caused by various exceptions. What is exception basically? So basically, exception is an event that interrupts the normal flow of the program. Okay, here if you to look at line number 13, where we try to divide 10 divided by 0. So divide by 0 exception will come. So it's arithmetic exceptions. Okay, similarly here you can see array index out of bounds exception. So the maximum length of the array is 5 only, but we try to assign the value at the index number 10. Okay, so it's also causes an exception. Okay, so how do you handle exception? You can catch these exceptions by using a catch block. See here you can see catch block is there. So how many catch blocks are there? There are almost 4 catch blocks are there. One is a number format exception, arithmetic exception, and array index out of bounds exception, and null pointer exception. And there is a one more block called finally. Okay, the finally block gets executed irrespective of the exception raised in your program. That means whether exception may arise, may not arise. Okay, but finally block gets executed. Okay, so this is a syntax for a exception. In testing, mainly we use a try and catch. Okay, we never use finally also. So try block contains the piece of code or block of code that may have a chance of getting exceptions. Okay, so what are the advantages of exceptions? So it basically ensures our program flow does not break when exception occurs. That means if there is any exception occurs, it does not break the general flow of the program. So there is an advantage with the exception. Okay, by handling these exceptions, we can make sure that all the statements execute and the flow of program does not break. Okay, so this is all about exceptions and how to handle exceptions. Okay, so coming to exception class, basically it's also derived from a class called exception. Exception class contains so many other classes. What are those classes? IO, input output exception, class not found exception, and if you are dealing with SQL exception, and then runtime exceptions. Okay, see, input output exceptions, SQL exceptions, no such method exceptions, and class not found exceptions are different type of exceptions. Okay, there is a one more category called runtime exception. Runtime exception has a few more sub classes. What are those classes under a runtime exception? Runtime exception contains arithmetic exception, and then array index out of bounds exception, and number format exception, and so on. So currently, whatever the exceptions we are dealing with, actually, these are actual runtime exceptions. Okay, runtime exceptions. Is it clear?
Yeah.
Yeah. See, coming to the testing part, we maximum use no such element exception, no such element to found exception. Okay, so this kind of exceptions we come across while automating an application. No such element exception. So this is a frequently raised exception in testing or automating an application. Okay. So let me know if you have any questions in exceptions. I will explain.
This no element exception, that is also Java only, right?
No, it is just automation exception arises during automating an application.
So
That
that
we'll
is
see once you
then.
get into Selenium. But I just want thought of mentioning this exception type. Yeah, it's also a Java exception only. Java
Okay.
exception only, but it does not. Uh, it does not belongs to Java. It basically belongs to Selenium classes.
Okay.
Okay. See, number format exception is there. So from where we got, actually we are okay, derive this exception from java.lang.number format exception. But if you take no such element exception, okay, no such element exception. So it's nowhere it is related to Java. Basically, it throws an error because it is not part of Java, it is part of Selenium. Okay. It is part of Selenium, it is not part of Java. That's the reason we can't use in ordinary programming. That means core Java concept, no such element exception cannot be found actually. This can be only seen in a Selenium automation testing. Any questions? Let me know if you have any questions.
No.
Okay. Now we'll see collections framework. Just try to execute this program, run as Java application. So here array index out of bounds exception has arisen because so we try to get the value at index value 10. Okay. So just go and comment this one, comment it. Okay. And then uncomment this. Control is right click and run this program. Then this time we'll get a divide by zero exception. So you can see here arithmetic exception has occurred. Okay. So we try to divide by zero. Similarly, just comment this one. And then try to uncomment this part. So for demo purpose, I'm just showing. Just try to execute once again. Now you'll get a different kind of exception. So what is the exception type? See, this time conversion number format exception has arisen. Okay, clear?
Yep.
Okay. If you want to see the entire details of the thing, what you can do, Control C, Control V. Okay, you can simply give e dot print stack trace. That's it. Okay. So system dot out dot EL are also not required. To see the complete details of the exception, you can simply call this method e dot print stack trace control S. Okay. Run this program. Now you can see the Java built in. Here you can see lang dot number format exception. Okay, clear? So this is exception we do get. Then again I can go and comment this one, and then this one. Okay, string dot length anyway, that's fine. So these are the various kind of exceptions we come across while developing the code. Okay, so try to understand. Thing is, there are two type of exceptions. One is a compile time exception and runtime exception. So these are actually compile time exceptions, arithmetic exceptions, and so on, right? These are actually compile time exceptions. And coming to runtime exceptions, as I told you, there are different categories of runtime exceptions. What are those exceptions? Types: input output exception, and class not found exception, and SQL exception, and no such element exception. So these exceptions will arise in the compile time. Runtime, after compiling the code, we do have a compiler, a interpreter, right? In interpreter time or a runtime, we do get these kind of exceptions. Okay, arithmetic exceptions. So how can you say these are actually runtime exceptions? if there is any error, now itself we can able to, I mean, first of all, you can't execute the program. You can't really execute the program if there is any compile time error, because compile time error throw error immediately. But are you seeing any errors in the code right now? Is it stopping us to execute the program? No.
No.
Hence, these are actually runtime exceptions. Only in runtime you can able to see the errors. So that is the reason we call these exceptions as runtime exceptions. Example, arithmetic exceptions. All arithmetic exceptions, null pointer exceptions, number format exceptions, array index bound exceptions, all are actually comes under runtime exception. Okay, clear?
And in catch statement, do we write some other code also, or always write the exception error?
Here, catch block we have to write only handlers. Handlers means you can write any code inside catch.
Okay.
You can write any code. Nothing, very simple. See, you know that there is a piece of, there going to be some exception may arise in runtime. So you have some 100 lines of code. Okay. There is some 500 lines of code is there. In 500 lines of code, definitely there are few exceptions may arise in runtime. So you copy that code, place that code inside the try block. And catch, what do you need to catch? Catch is nothing but a handlers. If, for suppose, if there is any breakdown of the code, or if there is any unwanted event arise in your execution, then you have to handle inside a catch block. That's all. These are actually handlers. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now coming to collections. Okay. See how these collections and what are the collections we have, and okay, but I have just gave you already the brief overview about the collection. Collection framework is a collection of interfaces and classes, as I told you. So collections is a main interface. Inside a interface, we have few more interfaces. They are going to extend it. What are those interfaces? Set, right? Set, list, and queue. These are other interfaces. Okay. Again, few more classes are there. What are those classes? Array list, vector, a linker list, okay, and then a tree set, and then hash set, and so on. Okay, tree set and hash set, these are the classes are going to implement a set interface. Coming to array list and linker list, array list and linked list both are going to implement the list interface. List, there are three interfaces under collection interface: set, list, and queue. Is it clear? Okay. Along with that, we have one more interface called map. Inside a map, actually, there are few more classes. They are going to, okay, implement a map interface. What are those classes? Hash table, tree map, hash map, linked hash map. These are actually various other classes under a collections framework. Remember this. We have so many classes are there. As a tester, we heavily depending on the array list, because okay, searching is much faster in array list collection compared to other collection types. Okay. So how to declare a collection? Actually, very simple. This is how we have to declare a collection. Okay. Array list, and that type of data it is going to store. It might be integer, it might be string, it might be float, any type. Okay. And then you have to use a new keyword, new array list of a string, and you have to use a method annotation like parenthesis. Okay. After that, we simply add all the elements by using a method called add. Along with that, so many methods are there. Okay. So this is nothing but initializing a array, initializing a array list basically. Initializing array list. So we can also loop the array list, and we can also find the length of the array list by using a method called a size. Okay. So how do you add? Actually, this is how we have to add: al.add, al.set, al.remove. Okay. And this is how we are going to iterate the array list. We simply use a for loop. Inside for loop, we are just getting all the details. See system.out.println and string. Okay. And then if you want to, okay, remove any element, you can definitely do that. You can remove an element, and if you want to find the exact value of the index of the element inside array list, we use the index of. Okay, if you want to fetch an element at a particular index, you can definitely do that by using the get method. Okay. Along with that, we can also sort. You can also sort basically. You can also sort array list, and we can do both in ascending order and descending order. Okay. Clear? You can also sort an element. How to sort an element? There is a very simple method called sort. S-O-R-T. By using this method, we can sort an element. Okay. You can simply use before going to clear it. I just want to use actually al dot sort. Okay. This is a sort method. We use a sort method. Okay. We use this method automatically. It sorts all the elements. Okay. Sort. Okay. So generally we use to use a collection. I mean sort method. We use collections. Collections dot sort of. Okay. Sort of al. That's it. It automatically sorts a element. Then how do you find the sorted elements? Again, we use a for loop, and we simply run the program. Okay, how to run the program? Very simple. So system dot out dot println of. Okay, so after sorting the elements, okay, so for loop, insert for loop. Okay, string, and then we can give any variable, temporary variable is actually. So index or counter, if it's counter. Okay, and then you can give al. Okay, al. Okay, so print these values. That's all. So very simple. System dot out dot println of. Okay, the println of. Okay, so counter. Right, that's it. Then very simple. Okay, so just right click, run as Java application. Okay, this is how we can see. Okay, yeah, the first one is I think still we have. We'll go up. Yes. Okay, so here you can see the list of elements in an array list is, these are the list of elements. Okay, after that what we are doing is simply adding few more elements. Okay, and we have added an element called Steve. After that again we have added one more element called Revati something. Okay, and then we have updated, that means we have removed few elements and so on. Finally, the list of elements in AL is, finally the list is Steve, Alex, Zeen, Rama, Lakshman and Muhammad. So what's the total length of the array list? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 elements are there. This is the size of the updated array list is 6. Then coming to sorting, this is how we do sorting. Okay, Alex, Jeevan. So it basically follows alphabetical order. Okay, basically follows alphabetical order. Is it clear?
What is that collections? Can you show me at the top once? The collections, is it?
Yeah, collections is a class. Okay, that is inside the java.util. It basically have a few methods that can be performed on any kind of collections class. Okay.
Okay.
See, I have explained, right? Let me explain once again to make you clear about this. Very simple. Collections, okay, is a interface. Inside this, we have so many interfaces out there. What are those set? Okay, queue, and then list. These are other interfaces. Okay, so collections is a parent interface, and set, queue and list are actually, you can say, child interfaces. So basically this set, queue and list can extend collections. Clear? So again we have classes. What are those classes? Array list. Array list is a class. This class basically implements list. Okay, so this interfaces set, queue, list extends collections. Okay. So that means whatever the methods available under collections can be leveraged by the set queue list. At the same time, these classes, array list, vector, and so on, these classes can implement the methods declared inside these interfaces. That means the array list have a capability of all the methods and logic implemented inside the set queue list and then collections. Okay. So here you can see collections dot. See, so these many methods are there, but for testing I never used all these methods. Okay, empty list and so on. Okay, fill, index of sublist and so on, maximum, minimum. Okay, reverse order. Okay, so here you can see sort. You can sort actually, you can perform sorting. Swap, you can swap also, you can swap certain elements. Okay, but for testing purpose we use array list when we are dealing with the test data. When we are dealing with the test data, we use this. Yeah. Tell me anything else.
Yeah, so to delete, update and delete, we have separate methods, right?
Yeah, we have separate methods. See, these are the separate
Okay.
methods. So many methods are there actually. Okay, but I have shown you very important methods. Okay, here you can see add. Add is a very common method. We can keep on adding the elements to the array list. But if you want to set that means instead of Steve, I want to at the index value 3, I want to set Revati. We can do that. See, look at the here. You can see instead of Steve, see instead of Steve, it has become a Revati. Okay, there is no Steve now after updating. Okay. So it's nothing. Array list basically implements a list interface. Okay, I'm stressing more on array list because we use in a testing purpose. In testing process, we use array list only. Array list basically implements a list interface. Okay, it is completely based on array data structure. What is array data structure? Array data structure can store only homogeneous data in a continuous memory locations. That means it can store only one type of data. Okay, heterogeneous data can't be stored. Okay, so it is widely used because of its functionality and flexibility it offers. Okay, so why? One of the reasons is actually it is a dynamic array. Okay, it can shrink and expand the length of the array dynamically in runtime. So that is the reason we call that is the reason we call actually it is a resizable array. Resizable array implementation of a list interface. Okay.
And one
Why it
question,
is
like,
better than array?
yeah,
Yeah, go ahead. You're asking something.
yeah, like,
Why? Yeah.
when
Why
to
it is
use
better than array
array list
actually?
collection?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, when to use the array list collection and when to use other collections like hash map, or how do we know that? Like,
Yeah, definitely you can
um,
understand after going through all the collections. But I gave you already
okay,
brief the difference. Array list for searching, especially searching an element, updating an element is easy. Okay,
okay,
that means traversing the items into the collection is much faster in array list than compared to other data types, other data collections. Okay,
okay.
see in testing, what we do ideally, do you update the data in runtime? How many times do you update the data? Very rare.
Yeah,
Very rare. Ideally, what we do, we have already predefined data. We simply take the data in runtime and just push the data into the application. That means we focus more on traversing the data left to right and right to left. That is actually very easy in a array list. That is the reason not only the testing, even development team also prefer to use array list. That is one of the reason. Okay.
Okay. And when to use array and when to use array list collections, like because we have array also for the
Yeah,
same
yeah.
thing.
As I mentioned, array and array list, there's a difference. Array is actually fixed length object, fixed length class, but array list is not fixed length. Correct. So if once you declare an array, you can't add more elements than you have already declared. That means index value, if you declare 5, more than 5 elements you can't declare. Okay. So whenever you
Yeah.
want to create an object that can dynamically grow and shrink after addition and removal of elements, then you can go for a array list. See, just look at this console. You can better understand. See, initially we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Is it possible if you, if it is an array, by adding and removing the elements, we can remove, but we can't add. Correct?
Yeah.
Correct? So basically,
Yeah.
array list can dynamically grow and shrink after addition and removal of elements. Okay. So one more thing, array list enables the use of predefined methods. Okay, which makes our task much easier, especially when you're dealing with the testing. Okay, what are those methods? Addition, adding, and the removal of elements from the array list. Okay. So how to
Yeah.
create an array list? By using array list ARRAY LIST. That's the name of the class, and then you have to define a variable. So if you look at here, string we are just using, right? What is that string? In our code, we have used string. What is that? Here we are using string. What is this string?
String string values.
Correct. Type. Type.
Type.
Yeah. Type. Okay. So that means the array list AL can store only the type string. The type determines which type of elements the list will store basically.
Okay.
Okay. So we can only add a string type if you define a string. If you give integer, it can store only integer. So there are similarities, right? Array also same. It can store only homogeneous data. Array list also can store only homogeneous data. Okay.
Yeah.
And how to add? There's a method called add method. You can add. And how to change an element in array list? How to change an element in the array list? We have a method called set. By using set method, we can change an element in the array list. Okay, by providing the index value, we can update the data into the array list by using the set method. How to remove an element? We have already predefined method called remove. We can simply give a dot remove, and either you can give a index value, or we can directly provide the data. Okay. Remove, there are two ways you can use. Either you can provide the element index, or you can directly provide the element. How to iterate an element? How to iterate an array list? We can use enhanced for loop. Okay, we can iterate the list of elements of the array list by using the enhanced. How to find the size of the element, size of the array list? We have, I told you already, there is a method called size. By using size method, you can get the the total length of the array list. Okay, so we can add and we can remove all the elements from the array list. Okay, how to sort an array? We have a method called a sort. Okay, but the entire sorting can happen after passing the collections. I mean, entire collection, array list collection have to be passed as a one of the argument to the sort method. Sort method. Is it clear? See here, you can see sorting. How we are able to sort actually? We have to pass the collection as a one of the argument to the sort method. Where is this sort method? The sort method is part of collections. Okay, collections class. Okay, This class consists exclusively of static methods that operates on or return collections. That means the class has a static method which you have to pass directly. So that is the reason we are able to access directly the sort method. Since it's a static method, we are directly calling this method with a qualified name called a collections. Collections dot sort and then pass a alias of the one of the argument. Okay. So it sorts a list of strings based on alphabetical order. Okay. And then what are the other methods? Set, add, index of. Okay, if you want to find the index of, that means index value, okay, of a particular object, you can do that by using index of method. Okay, if you want to retrieve a particular element at a particular index, we can use a get method. Get method, size method, clear method. That's it. This is all about array list. Let me know if you have any questions. Array list is much easier. I will explain the differences anyway, but array list is really one of the very useful collection, especially when you are dealing with test.
Yeah, no questions for now.
Fine, then we'll wind up my other session. So we'll wind up now. Okay, tomorrow we'll discuss about hash map, hash table, linked list, and remap. We'll go one by one.
Okay. Thank you.
Manish, one more thing.
Yeah.
I thought of reminding you, the fees, actually remaining fees, can you pay? Probably tomorrow.
Yeah, 14,000, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I will check. Yeah, actually my salary is not yet done, so maybe tomorrow. Tomorrow I will pay.
No problem. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, we catch up tomorrow at the same time. Tomorrow we have class.
Sure. Sure. Okay. Thanks. Bye.